Have you ever been in a situation that was so awkward that you had to act your way out of it? This is what it feels like to have a Venus in Scorpio. When we get into the planet of Venus, this is art and beauty and pleasure. And so when you have Scorpio in the planet of Venus, this takes a very important role because I like to look at Venus as the play. Like the live play in which you live your life in. So with the Venus in Scorpio, you have Scorpio, which is a fixed water sign. And you have Venus, which is the planet of pleasure, money, beauty, the fine arts, just art in general. Pleasure, just pleasure, just what makes you feel good, in love, in work, in your comfort, what makes you comfortable, what makes you feel alive. But when it comes to Venus, when your Scorpio is here, when Scorpio is in Venus, this is a very beautiful, and sometimes it can be very lonely and very dark with this placement. Because with Scorpio is very emotional. And although very emotional, the Scorpio is private. This makes them mysterious. They are analytical. They pay close attention to the reactions and the moods and the emotions of others and how they react to certain things. The planet of pleasure, art, beauty, money, comfort, passion. This presents itself in a way that is fantasy like. The reason why I say this is because the reason why I say fantasy like is because Scorpio is having its own experience. If you have a Venus in Scorpio, you know what I'm talking about. So whatever experience the Venus in Scorpio is having, if they're not connected to someone who is just as emotional and deep, their experience versus the other person's experience is so deep and so emotional and so intertwined with the other person's emotions, even if those emotions aren't being presented, is incredible, yet very scary for the Venus in Scorpio, especially when they realize the strength of their connections with others. Scorpio seeks to connect emotionally with others. But when you have your Scorpio here in the planet of Venus, when you have Scorpio in Venus, you are connecting with everything that is pleasurable. You are connecting with people, with things, with music, with anything that you can analyze, anything that takes your interest. You begin to connect with those things very, very deeply. So if you were to research Scorpio artists, these artists, they have something about them that is just mysterious, that is dark. And I wouldn't even say dark, but just they have this thing about them that makes you wonder. And that is like the energy that Scorpio carries in general. But when you have a Venus here, when it comes to your art, when it comes to the way that you present yourself, it's going to be mysterious. It's going to always be something else that will make a person wonder about you, that will make a person, either want to come towards you or not. This can be off-putting to some people because the allure of a Venus in Scorpio is not for the weak, and it is very, very unpredictable. So usually when you have your Venus in Scorpio here, you're going to be the type of person, you are either going to be liked by a lot of people, or you're going to have people that not want to necessarily get close to you. You may wonder why. It's because your energy shows a person who has something to hide, who has secrets, who is mysterious, who doesn't say and present all of its crevices to the world. You know, it's very private. It's very investigative. The Scorpio is very analytical. They analyze everyone and everything, and how emotions play a part in those things and connections. So in their connections, with their friendships, with their relationships, the Venus in Scorpio is going to pretty much always keep something to themselves. This isn't intentional. It is, they are very peculiar about the information that they put out. So luckily I'm able to like talk about this because my Mercury is in Sagittarius and I have a lot of Sag placements. So I'm a bit more open with these things. But if you have Sagittarius placements in your chart with a Venus and Scorpio, you're going to not be as secretive, but you're still going to be very, very secretive. So like in your relationships, the Scorpio Venus can really be mysterious to their partner. If their partner is attracted to those types of connections or that type of mystery, then this is going to pair very, very well, you know, with their partner. It's going to keep their partner interested, you know, naturally. But if a Venus in Scorpio was to try to connect with someone who is not very open to having privacy, because the Venus in Scorpio, they pride themselves on their privacy. The Venus in Scorpio must have a certain level of privacy. This gives them space to analyze themselves, you know, and figure out what they do want to share with the world. The Venus in Scorpio can choose art, you know, an art form, whether it's music, writing, whatever, in any painting, YouTube. They can choose an art form to express themselves, because Venus and Scorpio can really have a hard time articulating who they are and and what they feel, because this is a very emotional placement. So in these expressions, the Venus in Scorpio is going to have a mysterious art style. They're going to have something about their art that is a little on the dark side, that is very keen to what others don't see. They'll try to reveal in their art, in their music, their deep emotions in a way that is beautiful, because a Venus in Scorpio is dark. A Venus in Scorpio is private. So if they can do this in the form of art, or in a form of a romantic gesture, you know, in their relationships, then this is where you will see the Venus in Scorpio try to connect with others emotionally, is through their expression of an art form, or their expression of a friendly gesture or a romantic gesture. Scorpio is a very interesting sign. Very interesting. With Scorpio ruling over the 8th house, you guys, this is about the taboo things. It's about taxes, money, death, transformation. So with the Venus in Scorpio, your transformations are going to have to deal with what brings you pleasure. Your transformations are going to have most to do with your love connections and friendship connections, money, art, your creativity. You're going to have transformations when it comes to anything that brings you pleasure. You're going to have a painful transformation through that. And when I say painful, that doesn't necessarily mean like it's going to hurt, ouch, but emotionally for you, Venus and Scorpio, it's going to really give you a different perspective on your life and the things around you. But most of all, it's going to give you a different perspective on your emotions. So when a Venus and Scorpio goes through a transformation, let's say creatively, for example, they're going to feel really, really low in their self-esteem. But during this transformation, they're going to be able to see the beauty in those emotions of having a low self-esteem. And they're going to take that low self-esteem feeling and let that fuel them. And this is going to create a transformation, because when they feel what they feel, when they feel a painful situation, no matter what it is, but in creativity, when they feel that low self-esteem, that is going to fuel them. Because Scorpio is very emotional. So when they feel sad or when they feel low, it's really, really low. And it's really, really sad. And this sadness and this lowness puts them in a place of isolation. And in isolation, this is where we become self-aware, because when you're isolated, there's no one else around except for you. What you hear is your own voice. What you see is your own self and your own reflection. This creates a transformation for Scorpio. So in creativity, when the Scorpio is able to be put in a situation to where they feel emotional about their creativity, they're going to be able to see their own reflection, because they're going to be put in a place of isolation. Isolation meaning not necessarily they're physically alone, emotionally alone, because now they realize that whatever they're feeling is not attached to someone else. It's what they want to do, but it's not how it is. And they come to a self-realization over and over again emotionally in this way. So the Venus in Scorpio is able to let their reflection and their self-awareness, their emotional awareness, fuel them, and they'll be inspired by that. They'll be inspired by knowing that their detachment is just what it is. So the Venus in Scorpio is able to be very creative in very unorthodox ways when it comes to their creativity. And you will see a Venus in Scorpio do really good at excelling and becoming better the older they get in different areas, especially when it comes to art, because it's a mystery. It's like a mystery around everything about a Venus in Scorpio. There's a mystery about how they make their love connections last, how their friendships are so strong. There's a mystery around their creativity. There's a mystery around how they make money. There's a mystery around how they speak. There's a mystery around them at all times. So the Venus and Scorpio are those that you will see transform out of like seemingly nowhere. They will transform over time. They'll get better. They'll be better over time, because over time, the Venus in Scorpio becomes emotionally strong and emotionally intelligent. And although the Scorpio is already emotionally intelligent, they have to transform into this. They have to grow into this. They have to grow. It's not something, just because you're born with something, just because you have an innate feeling towards something, just because you're able to have a certain trait that is aligned with yourself, it doesn't mean that you're going to automatically come out and be great at that. For instance, Sagittarius. A Sagittarius isn't going to just be spiritual just because they're ruled by planet Jupiter. They have to put in work. And for the Scorpio, there's no exception. And with Scorpio, unfortunately, but fortunately, those experiences that make them stronger, make them wiser, and make them emotionally intelligent when it comes to others and interacting with others, because they analyze them, is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So if you have a Venus in Scorpio placement, everything is a movie. Everything is a dream within its own. Like, for instance, I was thinking about when I would be riding in the car. It would be me and my kids or whatever. I'd be riding in the car and a song will come on. And if a song come on that I connect to, that's gonna have to be another video. I'm gonna have to do a Venus and Scorpio video when it comes to like the arts and stuff like that, because I love that type of stuff. You guys, drop me a comment down below. I hope you enjoyed my chit chat on the Venus and Scorpio placement. I know I didn't touch on everything, but these were just a few things going through my mind about the Venus and Scorpio, and I just want to update y'all, give y'all some very insightful information. This is the Sagittarian Goddess, and I will see you all in the next video.